Ho ho, boardies! Welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and this is Danganronpa episode 32. Last episode we started the final class trial. Monokuma tried to turn us all against each other with a bunch of photos. They were essentially photos of everybody but the one person, so everyone thought that that there was evidence that everyone was against them and everyone else was the mastermind. But we showed everyone the interviews we did at the start of the year to prove our collective amnesia. So at the very start, we'd done an interview, said that given permission to enter this program where we could potentially not finish at the Hope Speak Academy. A bunch of other stuff happened, and finally Kyoko said that the key to finding out Monokuma's secret identity is within the biolab. So let's move on and see what that's all about.
Unmasking the Mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
I'm guessing that she's talking about the fact that I think there's like 7 occupied. The biolab holds all the corpses of all the people that have died so far. And I think there's 1 less than there should be. Maybe? An inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about?
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
Okay. I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about?
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
Oh. What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
It's all a distraction.
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Trying to get us to get all emotional and less critical. Do more critical thinking. Yeah, I need to calm down. Can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. The inconsistency has to be that one area where the numbers just don't match up. Yeah, it's the lights on the what do they call that in the morgue where they have the drawers that roll them out?
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Oop.
Are you sure about
Nearly
this?
ran out of bullets.
That's impossible! Are you sure about this?
Oop. Final strike.
I'm not listening!
Wrong one. Oh, wrong. With the lights. Oh, god damn it, I gotta do it again.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Okay.
I'm not listening!
Lights.
This should prove it.
This should prove it.
see Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also
So there's
acts as a morgue.
Makoto.
And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there.
Yeah, there's Makoto, Hiro. Let me. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if there's 6 of us, then we should have 10 people dead, so there should be 10 lights.
That's where everyone who's died is
I
stored.
feel like there's an odd number, so I guess there must be 9 and not 7 that are lit up.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in. And there were only 9.
Only 9, so there's somebody that's not dead.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be on is 10.
I got it!
I got it!
10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why? That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
There's 10 people. That's right, that's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. I've already talked about how suspicious that was. Liam was third. Chihiro was fourth. I feel like looking at the body. Mondo was fifth. The body's most likely to be Chihiro, maybe? Just because it had the same hair, I think. Taka was sixth and Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was 8th. Sakura was 9th. And the victim number 10 was Makoro.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
I got it! The Mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
So it couldn't have been Makoro.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The last one was one that was already murdered. The reason there are less bodies than murders, the explanation for more murders and victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense? The same person was killed twice.
I got it!
Got it!
What about if the same person was killed twice?
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far. But one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
And then murdered again. And then murdered again.
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Technically, you're right, I guess. Still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course.
Mukuro.
Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on!
But we've got to remember that somebody's piloting Monokuma, so it can't be someone that sat around this table now.
Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious.
Okay.
Because Kyoko's totally delusional.
Someone's protesting too much. Monokuma file number 5. Okay. Might need to absorb something here.
Is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima?
Oh!
Leon Kuwata?
Wrong one.
Chihiro
I don't think it's Leon.
Mondo Owada?
Just see what we can work, what we can use Junko on then.
Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Okay. So got to absorb Junko and then hit that last one. Mukuro died from the wounds she had all over her body. Wasn't there someone else who suffered the same sort of injury?
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima?
Got it.
Leon Kuwata?
Got all these plus ones.
Chihiro Fujisaki? Mondo Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever?
Sakura.
Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone would...
Jacques Hughes!
No, that's wrong. Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her?
So she is Mukuro? Or Mukuro's still out there?
She was impaled by a bunch of spears.
Mukuro
All
must
over
still
her
be out
body.
there.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body.
Or for some reason, Mukuro was disguised as Junko.
When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered,
And Junko's the one in the cabin, in a little room, piloting Monokuma.
And the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same.
so let me see if I have this straight.
Need to see that
Junko,
again.
or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple
Interesting. So we're kind of introducing the idea that it's not actually Junko.
Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true?
Yeah, because Mukuro's injuries, or why we thought she was murdered, weren't actually the cause of death, and it was being pierced repeatedly by spears, which is how Junko died.
Wait, so then... What does it all mean?
It
You're
means
such a
that there
himbo.
haven't been 10 victims, but 9. Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive.
bit of a hat on a hat
True
at this point.
identity of the Mastermind?
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
Or it's Junko.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died.
Yeah, or maybe it's the opposite and that is actually Mukuro.
So Mukuro is still
Oh, Mukuro.
alive. She's gotta be. Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
Mukuro alive. The one that's still alive is Mukuro. But can we really believe that? No, there's no way. There's no way Mukuro Ikasaba is still alive. Because it's the tattoo on the hand. Mukuro's fatal injury. Monokuma file. Mukuro Ikasaba profile. Maybe the profile.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Then she's still alive?
That's right. She made it look like Junko's body was her.
Okay.
So the Mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
Why would I click this? Okay, for that to be true, then that couldn't have been her body we found in the garden. Is that really possible? Not with those tattoos.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
No, it's wrong.
Jacques Hughes! Coco, or whatever her name is.
No. The body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall
That's
and
right.
weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals
The exact
were
same
31,
vitals.
21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And
So
then
that's
there's
got to
the
mean
power
that
of the
Junko
career
is the
tattoo.
mastermind.
So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the Mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Junko. Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. So Mukuro and Junko must have been in cahoots at some point, and then she kind of turned on her.
Here's my answer.
But she got away with it,
Still
so
alive. It's the only possibility.
by the school regulations, that means that she graduates. But
Are you sure about that?
are you sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes.
Somebody did.
If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade.
Charade.
But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you
Indeed.
not?
Now that you mention it, I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for a pulse, like they do in movies and stuff, but she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say, she was gone. I did check, absolutely, and I can say for sure,
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
Junko was dead,
So,
but it wasn't Junko.
the idea that she's
It was
still
actually
alive.
Mukuro.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
Just one more thing.
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
Huh?
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Need to turn around.
The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
How could Junko have survived? I checked her. She was dead, I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, we've already said that she has the same injuries. Mukuro has the same injuries as Junko, so it's got to be that Mukuro was Junko and Junko is still alive. Could it be that Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely. Thank you, Makoto. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Okay. Oh, okay. Replace is what we're looking for. L. I need an A. Replace. She was replaced.
That's it! What if she switched places with someone else?
Switched places?
That's right! Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Why though?
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything.
Why would
matches
Mukuro,
Mukuro's
agree to that?
right?
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
Was she wearing gloves? So that we couldn't see the tattoo.
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that? Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
Yeah, ninja replacement technique, that's what it'll be.
There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
Maybe we should just give up now. There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched. They switched at the moment of death. They switched at the beginning. They switched after death. Well,
I got it!
the other two are idiotic.
Two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So you're saying the Junko we first met?
He's always like 3 steps behind everybody.
All along?
We'd already met her?
I
I'm
had
trying to work out why Mukuro would be willing to do that.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Shame that didn't get a chance to
But
speak to her
Mukuro
properly.
had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right?
gloves.
Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
She didn't. Did she use makeup?
She could have hidden it with foundation
Foundation.
or something like that. If she did,
Classic.
it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished.
But why would she do it?
Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation,
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup in the very beginning?
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible
It's gotten
is
very
because
silent.
the two of them were working together.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her.
Yeah.
In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Is Junko coming down here?
Afraid?
Oh,
What's that
no.
mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
Answer that.
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it. But he can try to deceive us all he wants. It doesn't matter. Because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity. And not just once, but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation. Oh yeah, the interview DVD. We cut the power.
I got it!
I got it!
While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
It wasn't just the monitor. The DVD player itself had apparently turned off. Which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. But what the heck just happened?
Oopsie, looks like it broke. Out of service!
What? It just so happened to break just now.
Now, then, when, doesn't matter. Failure can strike anywhere, anytime. That's what failure is, right?
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because
He wanted
you
to save on electricity.
didn't real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko,
You see the difference?
it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke!
No, it wasn't a fluke. Mastermind definitely orchestrated that power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The Mastermind tried to cover up one other piece of evidence. I've got to reveal that. Okay. Oh, another dance rhythm game.
What? What do you want? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up! That's impossible!
Oh, oops.
That's impossible!
Group photo.
This should prove it.
This should prove it.
The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with this group photo. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we got. In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
Yeah, Junko's turned around in all of them. Unusual circumstances. There's circumstance common to all these pictures. Their faces obscured. The unusual circumstances. The ones who got the photos, Mukuro's face, Junko's face.
I got it! Junko's face. The one thing common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet.
Right.
With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko. Which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed that the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that
I mean, really,
we
you
knew.
shouldn't have given us those photos at all.
Xanadu!
Xanadu.
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she'd died. And the real Junko is still alive.
Dum dum
She's
dum.
the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game. She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair. Xanadu times 2!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the Mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait, hold on! Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate.
The one who denied it supplied it.
Anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything, right now.
Okay. Closing argument. Okay. So... Okay, so what do I do here then? So what we can see is the gang. So this is like just before she dies, right? Yeah, so just before she dies. Okay. There's two of them there. Right, okay, it's showing her that this is actually Mukuro. Okay. Act 2. Which is actually killed. Okay. Act 3. Okay. So, I'm gonna work out what will go here. This is the body being picked up. So surely... Oh, okay, this is taken from here. And then... Okay, then that's this. This. So she was going to kill Kato, or was it just a way to... Not that. Okay. So I guess that maybe it's got to be this. Is that right?
Here's exactly what happened. We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko Enoshima, right after we all arrived.
Junko Enoshima.
But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place. And that girl's name was Mukuro Ikusawa.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the Mastermind...
The
Junko
Mastermind? Said that weird. Okay, cool, that's right.
Her body was kept in a biolab, which had been converted into a morgue. Until Junko decided to put her body to use.
Dun dun dun.
Junko dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden.
Uh-huh.
She fabricated the murder to try and frame
Music is
Kyoko,
glitching out.
who'd proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school. So she put on a mask and then attacked me. After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room. Then she put the same mask on Mukuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same.
To reinforce the idea that they're alive.
She wanted us to believe the murder had only recently taken place.
Yeah. When they have Kyoko, the ultimate detective, what did they expect? Boom, I did it all.
Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity. She had to make sure we didn't find out it was actually the same person we'd met in the beginning. This is the truth behind Mukuro's murder. And the one who carried it all out is the true mastermind. The one controlling Monokuma.
Junko.
The real Junko Enoshima.
Yeah.
That's the whole story behind this incident. Well, what do you have to say to that?
And we'll see what Monokuma has to say next time on Borderline Games. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.